Kendra, you ready? Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. I'm calling to order the Board of Equalization. Today we have present Commissioners Kelly, Burmeister, Warren, Mixon, Klug, as well as our County Administrator Bonnie Moore, Kendra Kaler from the Register of Deeds Office, Dan Pittman, County Assessor, Denny Wilson, our County Engineer, and Jeff Mikesell, our County Treasurer. Please silence your cell phones and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A copy of the Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of the boardroom. With that, agenda item 4 is public comments. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak to the board before continuing on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to item 5, the consent equalization agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Burmeister, second by Kelly. Any further discussion? Please vote.
I'm a yes.
Okay. You guys seeing your votes?
Yes. I know.
All ayes?
Yes.
Ayes,
Yes.
5, nays, none. Motion carried.
All right, moving on to agenda item 6.1, tax corrections 17,582 through 17,595. County Assessor Dan Pittman.
Good afternoon. The School District Property Tax Relief Act gives property tax owners a tax credit to help reduce the amount that they pay in school district property taxes. The amount of the credit is based upon how much school property tax was collected in our county compared to the total collected across the state in the previous year. Today's corrections are for 14 parcels of partially exempt property that did not have tax credit applied to them for 2024, and procedures have been set in place to recognize the partial exemption parcels for tax credits going forward.
Thank you, Dan. Any questions or comments for Dan?
Motion to approve.
So the first time
Motion by Burmeister,
showed it, and then it never went on. Second.
second by Kelly.
Yeah, second.
Any further discussion? Please vote.
Ayes, 5, nays, none. Motion carried.
Thank you, Dan. Agenda item 7 is executive session, which we do not need this afternoon. All agenda items having been addressed as advertised, as published, the Board of Equalization is adjourned. All right, the time is now 3:04. I'm calling to order the Board of Commissioners. Today we have Commissioners Kelly, Burmeister, Warren, Mixon, and Klug, as well as our County Administrator Bonnie Moore, Kendra Kaler from the Register of Deeds Office, County Assessor Dan Pittman, Denny Wilson, our County Engineer, and Jeff Mikesell, our County Treasurer. Once again, let's see, public comments will open up. Is there anybody that would like to speak to the Board of Commissioners before continuing on with the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to item 4, Commissioners and Administrator announcements or comments. Commissioner Kelly.
Yeah, I do have a comment. I was out walking this weekend, and I was walking down 60th Street, which is about a mile from my house, and I walked it about 6 months ago, and it's under construction from 370 to K Park. And I walked it this weekend, and the pavement's gone about a quarter of a mile in 6 months. So I asked Bonnie if there's a way that the board could be more involved in the bid process for road construction projects, because we just cannot afford to take 2 years of time to build a 1 mile stretch of road. And it's literally been 2 miles if you add in the time of right-of-way purchase through construction. And while I was walking it, there were several people out by the road doing yard work. And I asked them how things were going, and their comments were not very favorable. So I want to do everything we can as a board to work with the county engineer and speed this process up. There's just no reason whatsoever that it should take 2 years to pave a 1 mile stretch of road. It creates inconvenience. It creates detours. There are people that depend on that road to take their kids to Bellevue Elementary School that now have to go over 2 miles out of their way twice a day just to pick their children up and drop them off at school. And it really doesn't need to be that way. So I don't know what the statutory requirements are for road projects, but we need to find a way to speed them up. And whether that be bidding calendar days or putting calendar day bogeys on there with incentives to get the work done earlier, i.e. you get done 10 days ahead of schedule, we'll give you a bonus. And then penalizing them severely for every day they're behind, because there is absolutely no, as a matter of fact, I drove down there today and there was a lot of equipment just sitting idle. Nobody's working. It's one of the best days of the spring. We could be putting pavement down. We're not doing anything. So I looked up the contract. This contractor has till October to complete this project. So there's no incentive whatsoever for them to hurry up and get the work done. So I'm going to look at the process moving forward for getting the board involved, not only in the bidding process, the RFP process, but also in the selection of a contractor. Because right now we used to open up bids right here in the boardroom for every construction project over a certain threshold. I don't remember what the size was, but we got to hear who won. We got to hear what the bids were. We got to hear what the engineer's estimate was, and right now, we don't get any of that information unless we go on a treasure hunt to find it. And that's just not appropriate. So for me personally, I'm never going to approve another contract that doesn't have a hard complete date. I'm not approving any more workday contracts. That's ridiculous. Matter of fact, we had the best winter we've ever had that I can recall since I've been on the board. And there was hardly any construction going on. We can't afford that. We're growing too fast. People are being inconvenienced, and we have a responsibility and a mandate from the citizens to get these roads built and get them built safely and get them built quickly. And I think we're failing on 2 out of those 3. They're being built safely, but they're just taking too long. So that's my comment. Thanks.
No comments.
No comment.
No comment, thank you.
All right, appreciate the comments. Up next is awards, proclamations, and presentations. We're going to go slightly out of order, starting with the proclamation for National Police Week. So today we're honoring the remarkable dedication of our law enforcement officers. Their presence on our streets and in our neighborhoods keeps us and our community safe. They believe in a higher calling, are willing to put themselves in harm's way in service of others. This is very admirable, and we're fortunate to be surrounded by so many who are willing to take that sacrifice. To the people who serve the Sarpy County Sheriff's Office with humility and integrity, we express our deepest gratitude. Your bravery and dedication do not go unnoticed. We thank you for your service today and every day. I know personally we love living in Sarpy County. It's a wonderful place to raise our family, and certainly the Sheriff's Office is a big part of that. With that, I'm going to read a proclamation into the record. Whereas more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serve communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Sarpy County Sheriff's Office, and whereas without hesitation, these honorable public servants keep our county safe and fulfill their responsibilities with courage and compassion. And whereas our law enforcement officers confront challenges and unimaginable dangers so we can live in peace and serenity. And whereas more than 200 members of the Sarpy County Sheriff's Office, including more than 100 sworn officers, are honored to serve. And whereas their bravery, professionalism, and ideals are an inspiration to our community. And whereas the Sarpy County wishes to recognize the dedication and sacrifice of our law enforcement personnel and the officers across the county who have been killed in the line of duty. And therefore, the Sarpy County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims the week of May 11th through the 17th, 2025, as National Police Week in Sarpy County to honor our law enforcement officers who protect and serve our communities. With that, I would like to invite our Sheriff, Greg London, to the podium if you'd like to make any remarks. Thank you for being here, Greg.
Thanks, everyone. Greg London with the Sheriff's Office. I appreciate the proclamation. That is awfully generous, and we'll send it out tomorrow after it gets signed. Let me just give you one short story about what happened Sunday night. We were out in Gretna at the IV at 192nd and 370, and there was a domestic violence call. And the guy was beating his girlfriend and wife, physically assaulting her. Meantime, another hot call came out on Highway 6 and the Platte River with the drunk driver who was 5 times over the legal limit. He backed into one of our cars, by the way, one of our cruisers. Thankfully, our cruiser wasn't damaged. But anyway, 2 hot calls at the same time. Our guys did a great job, and both those guys are in jail. So thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. And, I'd like to open up for any other comments from board members if they would like.
You want me to go first?
Please.
Well, I'll go last. Go ahead, Gary.
Oh, it always, as I've said, it's so nice to live in a county and live in our area where you really don't have to worry too much about anything. So I was just thinking about it, and I live in Bellevue, so I have obviously the sheriff and the Bellevue police, and I was commenting the other day to someone. I said, boy, I don't see too many around, but that's good. Nothing's happening in my area then. I really appreciate all the dedication, and it's truly remarkable to just be able to live the way we do and not have to worry about any really violence coming in our way. And it takes a lot of work, and because obviously we've all noticed in the past years that there are a lot of driving's not a skill anymore. It seems like it's everybody thinks it's their roadway to run races, and so you have to really be careful out on the roadways. That's not an enforcement issue. It's I'm not complaining about that. It's just there's so much less respect out there in the roadways, and that's frustrating, but they'll take care of themselves. So again, to all the law enforcement, truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Great job, Greg.
Thanks again for the recognition.
Yeah. Carry forward the tradition of Jeff, and I know you will. And thank you for Eldon, who's here in our meeting to make sure that we stay secure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We really have amazing, dedicated law enforcement in Sarpy County, and these are folks that put their lives on the line every day to protect us and our community, and we're just forever grateful and blessed to have you. So thank you.
Yeah, Greg, we can't thank you guys enough. You guys lay it on the line every day for the citizens of Sarpy County, and the men in brown and blue and women in brown and blue do an excellent job of protecting our public safety and ensuring that our quality of life isn't diminished because of things that such as crime that you guys take care of for us. So although we can't, words are nice, I think actions are even better. And I think I can speak for this board and say that, that we are going to back you guys and provide you with all the resources and tools you need to be effective in your jobs. It wasn't that long ago where men and women in uniform were being vilified. And, and that really created some issues for us in terms of recruitment and attracting quality, high top-notch people to the profession. I think those days are behind us now. I think we've turned the corner on that, and everybody I talk to has nothing but respect for the job that law enforcement, all kinds, whether it be police, state patrol, sheriff's departments do for the citizens of Nebraska and particularly Sarpy County. So thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Let me make another comment about what happened on October 28th in the Meadows on that officer-involved shooting, and it was a big deal for our sheriff's office. But you look into Sergeant Eldon Stoll back there, because he does a lot of training for us, and we handled that perfectly that night. The shooting itself and the investigation. But you guys give us a lot of money over the years for training, and it surely paid off that night and the weeks that followed. So the board has historically been very generous with our training budget, where other boards and cities cut that all the time, but we're pretty fortunate. And one more thing, look at our cruisers. We have the nicest cruisers in Nebraska. That's not even debatable. So, and it's a reflection of the county, right? Because that's, people see those cruisers a mile away, and we have the nicest cruisers around.
Thank you, Sheriff, and thank you for everything your office does for the county. All right, we'll now move to 5.1 is Resolution 2025-100, recognize the employees who have served Sarpy County and reached milestone years of service during April of 2025. So we do have a lot to celebrate today. We're so glad to recognize the Sarpy County employees for their years of service. A dozen people are celebrating 1 year with the county, and one person is celebrating 20 years this month. So we can see here's the list of team members that have served with us for 1 year, which is wonderful to see. Recruiting is sometimes an issue, and it's wonderful to see these folks come on. And I think we find as people are here for a little bit, they recognize how wonderful a place it is to work. We do appreciate their efforts and look forward to working with them more in the future. As a board, we know it's employees like this group that we see here who are serving the public with integrity that make the county great. Our employees making 1 year of service with the county are listed on the screen. And then Judith has been with us for 20 years from the sheriff's office, and congratulations to her.
Actually,
for
she's
making
with the
20
clerk's office and Register of Deeds.
Clerk and Register of Deeds office. All right. Well, thank you, Judith, for your 20 years of service there. Very much appreciated. It's wonderful when we see employees that have been here so long with the county and are dedicated to it. One, thank you for the people that make it that long, and also thank you to all the folks that they work with. Having great team members and fellow employees makes that 20-year mark much, much easier to hit. So with that, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Warren, second by Mixon. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
All right, moving on to item 6 is the consent commissioner's agenda. Would anybody like to see anything moved? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Burmeister, second by Kelly. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
All right, regular agenda 7.1, Resolution 2025-99. Award the low bidder and approve the agreement for the 48th Street and Capehart Road intersection improvements. Project C77 23-15 to Graham Construction in the amount of $1,993,817.27. Beth, it's our
Thank you.
Deputy Administrator.
Assistant County Administrator.
Thank you.
On April 17, 2025, the Purchasing Department opened 8 bids for the 48th and Capehart Road intersection improvements. The low bidder was Graham Construction in the amount of that $1,993,817.27. The high bidder of the project was $2,506,873.94, and the engineer's estimate for the project was $2,751,040. The improvements consist of expanding the intersection to its ultimate configuration of 2 eastbound lanes, 2 westbound lanes, center turn lanes, and signalization. The project will be completed in 3 phases, allowing traffic to flow through the intersection during construction. Construction is estimated to begin in May of 2025 and completed by the end of 2025. There are 105 working days in this contract.
Thank you, Beth. Any questions or comments?
So it's working days, not calendar days?
It is working days. Public Works projects generally have working days in them. All other contracts that we use for construction in the county are calendar days.
So what's the difference?
I can have Denny come and talk about, we've discussed this between our office, but the county engineer can determine why they choose to use working days in their projects.
Yeah, and my point is school's almost out, right? And we're going to tie up a major intersection where basically thousands of cars transit every day to and from to take their kids to school or go back and forth to work. And we're going to divert all that traffic through a neighborhood full of kids for 101 work days, which is more than 3 months calendar, right? 101 days would be a little over 3 months in a calendar, but 101 work days is over half a year, I believe. There's
you're
like
correct.
200 work days a year. Is that what's the general figure for work days?
I would have to have our county engineer talk about the formulation for calendar to working days.
Yeah. Okay. I'd like to hear why we do it that way.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
One of the major issues you can get with having a calendar day, if it does not have that extra money that we would give them if they make it quicker than, ending at a calendar day. That has not been used yet, at least since I've been here 14 years. I liked your suggestion of maybe, polishing it a little more so that they would get things done quickly. One good example was when I first took my office, Jim was talking about why is there no people working on Highway 370? And it did good. It took probably 3 to 4 months before we finally got those people moving on it. But those are the kind of things that could happen on these kind of things. And we're very cautious at it. We oftentimes will use the one with working days because we can see they're out there now. And we're the ones who say, okay, that counted for you, and you're going to be penalized on that. So,
that's good. But I guess my point is, Danny, and I appreciate the explanation. Thank you. When we had those floods, I think in 2019, Hawkins replaced a bridge on a freeway in about a week. So if there's if they're incentivized to get in there, get the job done, and get out with monetary rewards, that's exactly what they're going to do because they're a for-profit company. But giving them 6 months, we're going to be putting up Christmas lights. Mm-hmm. That's not good. I'm not saying this is not a complicated project, but I was out there along with Commissioner Burmeister for the open house and the public forum, and it's pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. Turn lane here, widening a stretch of road there. It shouldn't take 6 months. It just shouldn't. There's no
the other
reason
thing
for that.
in this particular instance, we had a firm that had a pretty good first place aspect due to the fact that they had a really low bid. What happens there, though, is if they're your first time you've used them, it's almost like we have to feed them with a spoon at times. So that was another issue that we were facing.
Well, I'm familiar with Graham. They're a good company. They do good work. They're very professional, but they're also going to be on my speed dial because I'm going to be calling them every week to get progress updates because we need to get this road done as quickly as possible. And moving forward in the future, unless there's some statutory reason we can't incentivize people with calendar days versus work days, I think we should try to go that route because you know it better than anybody in the room here. The growth is coming so quickly that if we don't get out in front of it, we're going to get swallowed by it. So,
okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet.
I don't know
Thank
if
you,
this
Danny.
is for you, Danny, or for Beth. Are there any incentives in this contract?
No, like I said, I don't know that we've ever used that. Perhaps in fact, we do that when we use the contact the people to do those big jobs where they could have plenty of room to work on. They always get things done quickly, and that's because they'll have the purse of money already put out. But I still think it would be a good idea.
Yeah. Because, and I listened to the numbers and they said engineering estimate was 2.7, and we're at just under 2 million. So obviously there's quite a bit of savings, and I would think, and again, this is just from me being in the private sector, that they would want to get in and get this job done as soon as they can and be on to the next job, especially if work's that tight. Or, I mean, I don't know if it's tight or if we're lagging a little bit, but obviously they want to keep their people busy as well and working. So I don't know. I agree. We need to make sure the worst thing that we can do is to open up a project and not be able to finish timely around schools, around all the things that go on. So, and the detours and everything. So,
Right.
And I know growing has pains, and we all have that, but as we can keep the pain as tolerable as possible.
Right. And don't hesitate to call us if there's something that's really slowed down where we haven't, because we'll be out there with our people in the field operations, but we just don't always have the time because of the stuff we're working on there.
I think one suggestion I would also have is, we know it's in the 1 and 6. So we have a fairly good idea right now what we want to do in 2026 calendar year. So we should bundle up as many of these small 42nd Street, 60th Street kind of projects, bundle them up and make sure that, we put them out for bid in the fall so that the construction will start, in March or February if the weather permits instead of June. Because we lose almost, half of the construction season doing it that way. So we really need to front load our RFPs in the fall. And then that also, I would think, would help the firms that are looking to do business with the county to plan their execution for the following year and know, where they're going to have to surge resources or not. But bundling, I think, would maybe help if we put some of these smaller projects together, then it becomes one larger project. You know what I mean?
I do.
But I really think putting the bids out and the RFPs out in the fall is the key to success for getting as much done. And the weather is a factor here. Most winters you could be shut down for significant periods of time, but this last year that wasn't the case, and I just feel like we lost a golden opportunity here, and so I want to make sure we don't repeat our errors in the future. Try to get out in front of it.
That's a good suggestion.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to understand, Denny, on the work days, is that in the specifications of the bid, how many work days it is?
Right. Yes. We look at that to compare it with our engineering. The engineering that we said, this is how much we were getting, and we can immediately give them the number of what we should have that project done.
Okay, and so how does it work with the contractor now that they have the bid? They have so many work days to complete the project? Is there an ending time? And I'm sorry, I just can't find it in the document there.
Right. The reason for that is you're going to have rain days in between. So if you don't have rain days, you get to work during that time frame. And then it's the opposite way where particularly if your work days run out, it could be because they had rain too much during that time frame. So there's always those little things that kick us.
But are they in breach of the contract if they don't work on a work day?
Not if it's just a work day, but if they miss out and they had plenty of room or plenty of great weather, we want them to push and get that done at the end of ours. So it's one of those things we probably could look at much more deeply. And again, suggestions, like you said, it would make some sense to bundle them it gets them done quicker and everybody else can start moving.
Yeah, I think this was before you came on the board. Actually, I think Jim and I were the only ones here, but when they widened 370 to 4 lanes, literally for months on end, we'd drive by the construction site and there'd just be a bunch of parked equipment. Nobody was working.
Right.
And people were giving Jim the business, were justifiably so, going, what's going on here? Why isn't anybody working? And so I think we want to
Well, that's kind of my question, and maybe it's county attorney. Do you all review these contracts? Is this my question is there meat in the contract if the contractor's not working on days that you could be working and it delays the project? Is there meat is that a breach of the contract, or is that something we should be looking at?
That is not in the current contracts.
Okay. Yeah, we should be looking at that.
Angie, if I may, with this particular contract, and for the record, administrative is supportive of this one. As Graham is the bidder, there's 105 working days. There's liquidated damages up $2,000 a day if the project takes longer than the 105. The challenge with working days becomes what's a working day.
Sure.
And so to assess those liquidated damages and look back at the forecast for those days and determine what was a working day, it is easier to calculate on a calendar day basis because that's just a straight number of days. And there's, I can't remember the formula. I think Beth might know. I think it's right. So you can take the number of working days and add a multiplier, and that's the number of calendar days.
Okay, that's helpful.
It's about 2.3 working days for calendar days is how they would get translated.
Okay. That helps. Thanks. Maybe we can.
That's a lot of rain in Nebraska. 2.3. Who's writing these contracts? I mean, they seem to all be favoring the contractors and not the county. 2.3.
So in purchasing, we did look at best practices and calendar days and working days. And in calendar days, we do feel our best practices just because of the determination of how do you determine what a working day is? And is it 48 degrees and rising, or what is that? Is rain a working day, or is it not? It gets really cumbersome on tracking those.
How are we going to defeat the Chinese communists in a war if we can't build a road in one day? It's just ridiculous. I mean, come on. It's like go to work for a day, then stay home the next day and smoke Luckies and still get your $2 million at the end of 103 working days or calendar days or whatever. It's ridiculous. We really need to scrub this process from start to finish because we are never going to get stuff that we need to get accomplished. If we're giving contractors 2.3 working days, 2.3 calendar days for one working day, that's ridiculous. I mean, just look at the average rainfall in Nebraska in any given summer. That makes no sense at all. So what, we're not working today because it's 95, it's too hot, or it's 55, it's too cold. Come on. This is construction work.
I'm not sure.
Just saying.
We'll get you the calculation. We have that calculation. We can get that to you today.
Yeah. Well, I don't need it today, but we need it, and we need to look at it moving forward, and maybe tweaking our contract so that we're not given 2.3 days, for one. 2 for one is too many for me. 1.5 maybe reasonable. I don't know. I'm not an engineer. But I do know that the fallout from this is 60th Street. So if you want to see what the fallout is, commissioners, drive down 60th Street and see a project that started 2 years ago from right-of-way purchase that's not even half done. And nobody's working. And why? Because they have till the end of October. No sense getting in a rush. Smoke those Luckies, collect that check. It's not right. It's really egregious to the taxpayers of this county that we're allowing that to happen. And I have a feeling that we were allowing it to happen because we weren't even aware it was happening. So that's why I made the comments to start this meeting. We need to get more involved as a board to make sure that we don't get a case of the slows when we need a case of, some meat eaters getting stuff done. That's what we need in this county. We need people that have the want to, that want our business and are going to earn it through hard work and timely projects. So
We could definitely set up a process where you get the information on our projects. Typically, you don't see a lot of things done in, say, 2 weeks, but 3 to 4, we could definitely send those items to you. You'd know immediately if they're too far ahead or not far ahead enough. So,
well, I guess what I'd really like to see is when a construction company marshals their equipment and puts it on the site, that they show up there every day to work until the project's done. They don't just let it sit there and go off and do some other project that benefits somebody not in Sarpy County at our expense. That's what I really want to see. So if companies can't support that, fine. Then go somewhere else and bid contracts. We'll bundle a bunch of them and make it more attractive to bring other companies in here that want to be here and do the work in a timely manner, because I don't see that happening right now. Now, I'm not saying that's the fault of the guys doing our work. They're operating within the confines of the contract that we gave them. So that's shame on us, not shame on them. But moving forward, it'll definitely be shame on us if we allow this to keep going on.
I would just reiterate what Bonnie said, that the calendar days are a way to have that transparency. It's easy to tell when a contract is done, when there's calendar days, and a little fuzzy with working days and the timing of projects when they're bid. That's also a very, we've been working on that as a team with Public Works. We're going to get better on that, bidding projects in the fall and bundling them, making sure that Sarpy County is first on project priorities for contractors instead of filling the gaps will help make sure we have good contractors on board and contractors that are there to work. Construction management is something that we also see as important, having construction managers that are on site, that are there, that are representing the county and pushing those contractors to meet the needs or to meet the terms of those contracts is absolutely critical for the success of projects. And we've had success with incentives, both vertical and horizontal construction, really incentivizing contractors to get those projects done either before the calendar days or before the working days. So we can look at all of those for you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Beth and Denny.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks you.
Any further discussion? Entertain a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Warren, second by Burmeister. Any final comments? Please vote.
Ayes 4, Kelly against. Motion carried.
All right, we do have a need for executive session for real estate this afternoon.
For the protection of the public interest, I move we go into executive session to discuss real estate.
Second.
Motion by Kelly, second by Mixon. Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none. Motion carried.
It is now 3:39. We'll go to executive session where discussion will be restricted to real estate. 4 o'clock at 3:39, we went into executive session where our discussion was restricted to real estate. I need a motion that we return to regular session.
So moved. I got it. I already clicked it.
Oh, all right. Motion by Nixon.
What does it say?
Second by Warren. Is that right? Please vote.
Nays 5, nays none, motion carried.
No, it looks like Jim beat you out. All agenda items having been addressed as published, the Board of Commissioners is adjourned. Thanks, Angie.